Welcome back to Transform Evolve with the 6th video now on transforming your life in 7 days. I hope you've enjoyed this process as much as I have. This has been a fantastic journey with you guys to bring all of this to fruition, to help you release your baggage, to release these limiting beliefs and emotions that have been really holding you back from your true destiny. So just to kind of recap, if you're watching this video out of order, please go back and watch every video in order because everything builds upon itself. This is an evolutionary process. If this is the case, please pause, go back, and start where you have left off. If you're here because you've watched all the videos, excellent. All right, so we're talking now about action steps. I want to go and talk about what you've accomplished. We've successfully navigated understanding how our unconscious mind works. Why does it help us or hinder us? Where do our programs, patterns, strategies, habits come from? We've identified the root problem. We've released that through the emotional and limiting belief release work that we did. And then from there, with our clean slate of not having all of that emotional garbage bothering us, right? Wonderful place to be. We then moved into developing who do we want to become? That was the avatar. And what do we need to do in order to become that on a high level? Well, that was the aim. We put that out into the future so that your unconscious mind is now in alignment with your conscious mind. Remember, conscious mind goal setter, unconscious mind goal getter. So we want to make sure that your unconscious is in alignment with your conscious mind. Okay, so we did that with the avatar and the aim. Then we moved into the SMART goal, making sure it was simple, specific, meaningful, able to happen, realistic, and timed. We developed that further. Then we put that out into the future. Once again, aligning your unconscious mind with your conscious mind to achieve this goal for you. We've talked about grounding on a routine basis, Ho'oponopono on a routine basis. And now we're going to move into the action steps even further because we started that in the last video. Your homework was to develop critical path items that you can identify for your goal to help move you in the direction of accomplishing that goal. Now, as you don't fret if you felt like it was impossible to develop the action steps, you had no clue where to go. Once again, I'm not working one-on-one with you. While that's a possibility here for this webinar, we're making it broad. So I'm giving you guidance to do this on your own, to empower yourself to further develop these action steps. Now, do know that we go back to that analogy of cracking the door in the unconscious. We've done the SMART goal, we've put it out into the future, so now your unconscious mind is working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's just the way it works, man. It's all, even while you sleep. So there could be a possibility when you go to bed, you start having thoughts like, oh, maybe this is something I need to do in order to achieve my goal. Or you'll wake up in the morning with fresh thoughts on your mind because while you were sleeping, your unconscious mind was doing its work for you on achieving the goal. So we're going to do action steps today, but know that this particular step is kind of ongoing until you achieve your SMART goal. So while we're doing this over 7 days, there's going to be parts of each video that I would highly encourage that you incorporate into either your daily or your weekly routine to refresh your memory, to keep everything moving in that direction. So action steps are critical path items that you've identified to assist you in reaching your goal. Let's revisit what critical path really means. There are things that have to happen first before you can do subsequent events or subsequent actions. We talked about house building. You wouldn't build a house without a set of blueprints, and you wouldn't build a house without buying a piece of land. You obviously can't build a house without having materials on the job site, and you really don't know what materials to buy until you've developed the blueprints. So you see that there are items that have to happen first before subsequent items. We talked about getting a college degree, if that's your goal, or we talked about finding a significant other in a relationship. It's like if you're going to meet someone, you got to go out and meet them, right? You can't expect them to just knock on your door. I mean, that's possible maybe, but I think that would be a foolish way to achieve your goal, is just to sit around and wait for it to fall out of the sky, literally and figuratively. So something that I think is really important for us to distinguish here is for realistic, meaningful change in your life, you have to take action. So let's take a moment and commit to ourselves right here, right now, because remember, you said you're going to come in at 100%, you're going to go all in, because this is a do with process, right? You agreed to that in the first video. So in that mindset of going all in, commit to yourself that you know, you understand, you believe, and you will take action to reach your goal, whatever that action is, right? So just make that commitment to yourself right now. I will take action. I believe that action is necessary. Okay, so just know that your action steps will continue to develop themselves as you move along your timeline to reach your goal. I think something really important for this video is tasking yourself. No change ever really happens without putting energy in motion. So with that being said, we want to make sure that our energy that we're using is the appropriate energy. It's not diluted or polluted with baggage, which is why we did the release work. We also want to make sure that we're putting our energy in the right place. Because really, when you think about it, we only have so much time in the day. We only have so much, quote unquote, energy in the day. So we want to make sure that we're really adequately placing our energy where it needs to go. And that's the beautiful part of this process of putting your SMART goal out on the timeline, aligning your unconscious mind, because now your unconscious mind is working for you, not against you, in helping you achieve your goal. And part of that is knowing where to put your energy. It shifts your desires. So you'll find in this process that you might have had a desire that was not congruent or not in alignment with your goal. A really easy example of this would be like if you have a fitness goal and you had a habit of maybe putting a lot of sugar in your coffee or creamer in your coffee. And let's say you ate Kit Kats or some other chocolate candy bar every night before going to bed. Well, those habits were not working in your favor, right? They were adding wasted calories to your diet, adding, harmful chemicals maybe to your body. And so now that you put this goal out into the future of being fit, again, this is a hypothetical, but I hope you're following along here, you will all of a sudden not have as strong or any desire at all to do those other things. You maybe will start to do it because it's a pattern. Even though we've done all the release work, there's still going to be some momentum to some habits and strategies that you used to run. So we need to be cognizant of that. But at the same time, there won't be the passion behind it. You'll look at that and be like, oh, that's what I've always done. And you'll have a moment where you'll say, do I want to keep doing this or not, right? You make a conscious decision. Now that level of consciousness may continue for a while where you have to break that habit, stall that momentum. Let's use the example of quitting drinking coffee. So that was for me a while back. I was like, okay, this is not in my plan, so I'm going to take this out. Well, I had the desire to stop because I put my timeline and everything out into the future, just like we did for you. But the pattern was still there. Like every morning I get up and it's like I just gravitate to where the coffee's at, right? So there's patterns and strategies that still have momentum, but they're easy to break now or easy to disrupt because there's no passion. There's no desire to continue what you used to do because it's no longer in alignment with your new goal that you put out in the future. So tasking yourself, it's interesting when you're now a clean slate, you can sit down and actually look without lenses of emotional baggage, without the distorting, without the deletions and generalizations happening. Because remember, every human being deletes, distorts, and generalizes the information that's coming in. Remember the 2 million bits of data per second? You're only conscious of 126 bits. Fraction of a fraction of reality is your reality. So that all being true, now that your emotional baggage is gone, you have a different 126 bits, right? Your 126 has shifted and it's now in alignment with what you want. Your unconscious mind is helping you get your goal through this process. So when you look at your tasking and your available energy, it should be really clear, without any of that distorting, what you're wasting your energy on. And you can revamp, reorganize the way you do your day so that you have more available energy, more available time to allocate to reaching your goal. It's the most amazing part of this process, I think, is that you develop this innate desire. It's just like, it just happens because it's what you want. And everything is in alignment to achieving that. So it's a really cool part of this process. So don't fret. This is not, CEO level stuff where you're going to do a time audit. You can if you want to, but just know as you continue to develop your action steps and you continue to take steps forward toward your goal, that patterns and strategies will become evident, and you will have to make that conscious decision if you want to continue that pattern or strategy or not. There won't be any impulse as far as like emotional desire. It's just going to be a pattern that has momentum to it. Like, I've always done it this way, so I'm going to keep doing it kind of thing. But you'll have the conscious awareness to make the decision if you want to do it or not. And then the time audit is you're going to end up having extra time now to where you say, I'm going to refocus that time. You're going to start seeing that you're wasting time on things that are not in alignment with what you're trying to achieve. It's a beautiful part of the process. So tomorrow we're going to talk about monitoring our progress, what steps we need to do to keep pushing this process forward. Just know that you are on the right steps to making lasting change in your life. It requires action. You've given your commitment. This is for you to help you grow, evolve, and transform into the person that you want to become. So thank you for your love and trust in this process. It means so much to me. We'll see you on the next video.